Hi, I am Jutotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. I'm going to share the chart with you, do some card reading, so cover the astrology energy. This is the alchemical goddess daily astrology intuitive. Can't wait to share this chart with you today. There's a lot of energy this week, so a lot is shifting. This is a powerful, important day to understand what you're taking into Mercury retrograde. So today, Tuesday, understand what you're taking in with you to Mercury retrograde and do your best to see if you can choose it consciously and the face the psychodramas, the shadow lands, the sadnesses and hurts that come up in your mind, that come up in your psyche that want to be cleared before the Mercury retrograde. Everything, it has its own timing. It has its own divine timing, but facing it gives you the best chance at clearing it, at going within, understanding it, moving through it in a way that perhaps can save you something that drags on for weeks. So this is what I really recommend. We have a grand cross in this chart, this square you can see here. Of course, the nodes are exactly opposite themselves, which fulfills the grand cross, and the moon and Saturn and Vesta are in opposition as well. The moon moves quite quickly through the degrees. It only stays in one sign for about 2.5 days. And so it only stays at a degree number for maybe an hour or so. Let's see when it moves off this. So yeah, the square, the grand cross, the grand square will break apart by 2 p.m. So it's somewhere between, it's for the morning, basically morning and early afternoon, at least on the West Coast for, and into the morning time. So really it's definitely effective today. And really put it as effective for today, all day Monday, this grand cross. And what it is that we have the moon in Leo. It's our heart. It can be tenderhearted. It can be where playfulness, romance, love, being in the heart, wearing your heart on your sleeve and being in that loving space, and the dynamic with that between your ego can all be up for healing, repositioning, reframing, understanding messages that want to come to you, old karmic things that want to be healed, and ways to step forward into greater Leo courage and Leo risk taking of being in your heart. And we also have this yod pointing to from the moon. Again, it won't be here long, but from the moon to Ceres to Pluto. Ceres is really about fertility, the abundance of the garden, the crops, and is this mother, divine mother energy. And with her and Gemini, it's like seeking the truth of the divine feminine and the mothering energy, the nurturance of this world, that nurturance side to everything. That why is it stuffed down, suppressed, trivialized, made not to be important within your own being? What are you allowing to suppress that and make that less than, make that less important? And why wouldn't that be one of the most important things? That everything comes from that nurturance. And the yod is pointing. And so it's like this motherly nurturance and the emotional heart on the sleeve, taking risks, being in your courage to live your life from your heart and face your inspiration and your light that might not be accepted by other people or seen or appreciated. And that dynamic in relationship to your ego and the ego interfering, facing that will allow you to go into the Pluto realms of deep, powerful structures inside that allow you to take action in the world, from your empowered woman, from a place of powerfully standing in a place that allows you to go through the inner flames of transformation. And so it's this, Pluto is transformation. it's the depths of emotion and intimacy. And so standing in this greater intimacy with all of life can really come in when we face the nurturance, the issues with nurturance, the issues between your heart and your ego. I'm going to add, let me see. I'm going to add an extra point and see. I'm going to add these 2 points and see what happens here. Aspected. I think I have to go back. There, aspected. Okay, good. Okay, and where are they? I don't see one of them. Well, thank you for bearing with me there. I just wanted to add this point in the chart and it is not coming up for some reason. I'll have to go back and look later. Well, regardless, I really want to understand like why this isn't here. Where are you? Oh, that's why, because it didn't work for some reason. That's why. Add. There we go. Good. Okay. So Eros is about that intimacy and that erotic interaction with life. Erotic, what does that conjure up for you? Because really like all of life is erotic. It's intimate. It's this energy, this love from this deep, intimate place, the wind blowing against your face, the connection to life. When you don't feel connected and you're in your head, you don't feel that erotic experience of life, that romantic Leo moon experience of life, that powerful, intimate Pluto experience of life. And Pluto being in Capricorn, Capricorn is this intense sexual energy that's often repressed, put into work. And so it's this idea of the work coming from this deep, intimate place of that sacral energy used to create and do the work rather than working, pushing down and suppressing that sacral sexual energy. The sexual energy is of creation. And when it's skewed and the sacred is taken out of sex, it's has this taint of the culture on it instead of understanding that it is creation itself. It's very sacred and it's very magical and it's beautiful. And when we bring that connection back to our sexuality and to sexuality, not even necessarily talking about sex itself, but our sexuality, meaning our experience of living and being in life, because life is about living. The culture is really this death culture that we must mitigate within ourselves and dismantle within ourselves. And so this Grand Cross is also hitting the nodes, the moon, and Saturn. So it's for most of the day. It's an energy very much of like a fire alarm going off, like a lot going on and a lot of push pull. It is like many different people in your house doing really different activities. One's playing the bassoon, another one's meditating, and another one's karate chopping boards, and another one's cooking a giant meal in the kitchen with French music playing. So it's like very different energies all going on at once. The South Node is this psychologizing kind of polarity, black and white, all or nothing, suspicious, distrustful energy. The Saturn Vesta energy in Aquarius is like, what do we need to connect to and what are we committed to? And let's get going on this thing and make it the sacred altar within our being that is so profound and let's do it. Let's go. And what do we need to disconnect from to make that happen? And this doesn't vibe with me, and this does, and very impersonal about it all. And then the North Node is like, we need to get on destiny. We have the sunshine out there. We need to get in the garden, dig in the dirt, and plant these seeds and grow and weed and just be in peace and love and twirling and joy, and also getting a lot done, and being in the abundance of fecundity and the trust and the love and the knowingness of life and the divine feminine. And then the moon is like, I'm emotional, my ego is jacked up, my emotions are over here, I want to be in the romance, but I have this push and pull between my emotions. There's so many feelings coming up, I can't name them all. And meanwhile, I'm being pulled in these other three directions. So it's very much, if you know to if you can really understand and be aware of like having your destiny pretty well in alignment. Like, do you know your calling, your purpose, your sacred mission, like what you're doing? If you don't know that, I really recommend coming into a goddess call, and it's a complimentary goddess call you can book on the astrology the goddessastrologer.com. And you can get some clarity on your sacred calling and mission in this life. But you should know, I mean, it's really doubtful that if you're listening to this, that you don't have a general idea. Now, do you know every single detail and have acute clarity on every element of it? No. And that's the adventure of it. And that keeps coming in and coming in, and you allow that to unfold. But maybe making more clear to yourself that I do know what I'm doing. I know what project I'm working on. I understand my vision as it stands today, and I know that it'll unfold. So just reassuring yourself, letting the mind go, but doing your spiritual gig bag. What are the tools? What do you need to do to deal with that Scorpio mind psychodrama stuff? Because it usually needs cleared. It usually needs faced. It usually needs gone into. Do you need witness? Do you need to journal? Do you need to exercise or write it out, or do some painting or creativity work, or go out and do something adventurous? Or do you need to do your fill your cup and be like really get fully resourced? I did a excellent episode about that in the podcast a couple Fridays ago. It's called Are You Fully Resourced? It's a powerful episode, so I really recommend you going to listen to that in the Light Goddess podcast. The link's below. And then once you have those squared away, grand square, then you can really, that commitment to the sacred altar of your project, what you're doing, your next commitment to moving forward, what you're moving forward on, should be very clear. And the emotional playfulness, joy can come out and guide and lead you forward to pull you in that direction. So the square is a really beautiful thing, actually. It's active, it's busy, in a positive way of taking action on the things that really matter. And don't forget, we have all this Pisces energy. Mars can be a little confused with being in Pisces and just feeling dispersed of what actions to take. So if it's coming from soul, intuition, heart, then Mars can move forward. But if you're confused, and then it means you need to go into your spiritual gig bag and do your inner work. The work is the play. That's the play. Your sacred calling, that's all the play. That, like, if that's not fun and amazing, then something's off. And why are you not getting your brain coached? Why are you, where's your spiritual gig bag? Go into your tools. And do you have a very full, hearty spiritual gig bag? Do you know how to use all those tools? Do you understand what that is? So we talk about that on the Light Goddess podcast in our sisterhood. And we do so much in coaching too. So Jupiter here has this is at the last degrees of Pisces still. So the last degrees of a sign can be challenging. So it could be karmic beliefs that are wanting you to look at them, to clear them, to face them, to consciously re-choose and determine how you can clear them, what needs healing, let go of, released, re-looking at. And Venus in Aries, she's very demanding and assertive about what will fulfill her needs, what will provide the intimacy and the beauty and the love and the comfort and the things that she needs. She's very assertive about it. And it's not necessarily aggressive energy. It's just very firm, knowing this is what makes me happy. This is what I want. This is what I like. This is what I need. And it could be challenging if you're not very steady in your identity and your likes and dislikes, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, your no, your yes. So it can bring up some tension. And because there's sextile from Neptune and Pisces to the North Node in Taurus, there's this wanting to be in the deep, abundant attitude of life, to re-narrate and restory your life for the spiritual soul reality. And Saturn is asking us to only connect with the things that are part of that, to disconnect from the matrix and to let go of what's holding us back. Mercury in its home sign is strong and will be going retrograde on Wednesday, with Jupiter going into Aries on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be a powerful day. I want you to really use these 2 days here to heal, face shadow, to improve where you're at emotionally, where you're at with yourself, and to really be in that creative, beautiful space, and to let it unfold naturally, and to go with them. We got sandpaper spirit, be playful. Sandpaper spirit is about the playfulness, the joy, the love, the happiness. What's impeding that? Because it's in reverse. So it's saying that something is impeding that right now, and that's what's to go into and to face. We often just push it down and scroll and binge watch TV when there's a whole life. Like, if you just start moving your life and doing things you didn't think you could do, and just start moving and going and being and living, it's one of those things where it's taken me a lot of years to realize that I don't have to do what I don't want to do. And it's the levels of it are so deep, because it's like, I live in this place, I have this apartment, I have these animals, like, how am I going to do something different? But if you just start being willing to be uncomfortable, be on the adventure, and not know, and trust in your divine and in your heart, saying, I hate where I'm at, I hate this apartment. I mean, yes, there's all these things that make it comfortable and make me feel safe, but I'm in a prison of safety. Like, being in a prison of safety is not living, and it's really not giving yourself the chance to trust in your magical journey, because you're not in the matrix. You're not just a body. You are a soul incarnate that came down to the simulation of a thing here, this life, and you get to, like, take the buffet, the banquet, and make of it what you want, instead of only buying into the projected reality that's not a truth. Mouse spirit, tend to the small things. So to be that free and willing to mix it up, and to go do what you really want to do, and try a new city, just take a vacation to a new city, tend to the small things, like get all the lists and the things that are niggling in the back of your mind, get them done. What I like to do is, I have the list of all the things I kind of put off, or just kind of got relegated to the end of the week or the end of the month, and then I just make an afternoon of it or a morning of it, and bam, I just go one by one by one, and I just don't put any stress or pressure or anything on it, and some good food and tea or whatever, and I just like don't care. I like really have a don't care attitude. It's like taking those standardized tests in school, where for me, I just filled out all the bubbles. I'm like, this affects my grade in no way. I do not care about this. I am not stressing over this test, and I'm not even taking this test. Here's the bubbles filled in. Here's my freaking piece of paper. Thank you for wasting my time. It's like, I did not care. And so having that kind of attitude about, like, no stress about all the little details, just one thing at a time, make the phone call, do the email, every little thing that needs to be done, it gets done. It's peaceful, it's joyful. Hawk spirit, let spirit be your guide. So I was talking about really following your heart. That it took me a long time to really understand that I kept being safe inside a cage that I made for myself. And most of us do, because of the fear that we won't have what we have now, that food will be different, living situation will be different, that you won't have it exactly the way you have it now, and it'll be worse, supposedly. And a lot of it's perceptual, a lot of it's just willing to be uncomfortable, be on the adventure, be different. There's so many ways that we cage ourselves. And I kept myself in cities I didn't really want to live in. I kept myself in experiences of life that were just sucking my life dry, sucking my soul dry, that weren't really living. And so it's like, those are all perceptions in our mind. And it took me a long time. And there's so many, the subject goes really deep, much more deep than my words are coming at this moment. But I really got to a point where I had to go face all the fears myself to be able to move, to know that I don't want to stay where I don't love it. And whether that's physically or just mentally in my mind, that I need to move my mind too, that are my emotions. I need to go read a book, I need to get stimulation, I need to do something to change. I don't have to live in these cages of these things. We have dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. The dog energy is just really loyal. It's a high consciousness energy. A dog's wagging tail is in the 400s, I believe, maybe the 500s. I can't remember on the map of consciousness. If you're familiar with the calibrated logarithmic scale of consciousness that has been a part of our world for a very long time, that really helps you understand consciousness at deeper levels, but it's in reverse. So it's saying, hey, are you being loyal to what you love, or are you being loyal to your fears? Really different things. I'm going to leave it at that today, because I think that's like a really powerful last punchline. That, are you being loyal to your fear or to your heart and what you love? And because you've never navigated or lived life that way, you don't know that you're gonna land on the ground every time you jump off the trampoline or jump off the cliff, or that you base jump and you're gonna land safely on the ground. Koi spirit, there's always enough. So it just, our ego wants enough to look a certain way. You know, maybe there's enough chocolate one day and enough beef jerky another day. Maybe there's enough of amazing meals one day, and the next day there's enough peaceful time with loved ones. Maybe one day there's enough time to get all the work done that you wanted to get done, all those niggling things, and a different day there's plenty of time for nurturance and connection and friendship and things like that. But every day you don't have like all of the conversations with your friends. You have a little bit throughout the week. And so really understanding there's really always enough. It's our perception that skews it. So I'm sending you so much love. I will talk to you in the next episode. And let's see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. No, the camera won't like do it justice. Anyways, but I'm just living my life at the ocean on a cliff, recording this. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day and prepare for Mercury retrograde and the ingress of Jupiter into Aries. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you on the next episode. If you want to book an astrology reading, you can do that at thegoddessastrologer.com. And the Light Goddess podcast is daily, powerful, powerful episodes that will raise your frequency and move you forward. We are stronger when we are together. So talk to you soon.